Hello. So here's an example of creating what we call stored queries. I'm going to use AdventureWorks to try and show you. A stored query is a query that we store in advance, a name and so on. And you're going to find out that we can use the query to, to simplify our work. First of all, using database tools and then relationships, I'll show the map of the database. I've built up the information about which tables relate to which because that helps a lot. Let's take a look at a group of 3 tables, like, for example, this one here. Salespersons, their territories, and the territory themselves. Now, those 3 tables, they are there because each salesperson can cover multiple territories. Each territory can be covered by multiple salesperson. So I need a table in the middle there to form the link and say a list of which salesperson is covering which territory. But if I want to actually query these 3 tables, it's a bit of work because, well, there are 3 tables to join. And typically when we do this, we also want information like, I don't know, extract statistics from that or all of those sorts of things. So rather than do a really complicated query that both joins the tables and then gets those stats, what I'm going to do is first write a query to show us the data from all 3 tables together. Store that query and then use that in something else. Let me think. Create, and we are going to make a new query, so query design, that uses, we said, the salespersons, the territories, and let's make space in between there, the link between the two. Now I want everything from every one of the 3 tables really. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, I'm changing my mind, I think, because really that table in the middle, that salesperson key is the same as that one, that sales territory key is the same as this one. So those 2 don't bring anything terribly new. That salesperson territory, I don't know if I really need it, but okay, let's say yes. So here we're going to display that key. Okay, I'll do that because let's count how many result columns we're going to get as a result. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 column from here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is enough. If I had asked to display also those 2 columns, 11 columns across, let's look at the results. Okay? And I don't want to repeat this and write it twice over, you see. The salesperson territory key, the sales territory key. The 2 columns that would be repeated would be this one, I think, and this one. And we don't need them twice over, do we? Anyway, we have queried this, and now we have got information tells us the name and where is every individual and the place where they are operating. I can also look at the SQL for it. I suppose it's useful to have some kind of idea what that is. A lot of joining. A table, join another table, join another table. And then the on part is telling us which two columns have to be made the same. Okay, it's working and everything, but I'd better save it. And I'll name it something sensible. What was this data? It was something to do with salespersons and their territories. So I'll call it that, salespersons and territories. And I'm going to give this stored query a strange name, maybe, but all the other ones are called tables, but this is not exactly a table. I mean, I can't enter new data in there. The new data always comes from the other tables, the salesperson's table, the sales territories table, and the link. So this is not exactly a table. It is a view. There. I've got it as a sales query. What am I saying? I've got it as a new query. Let's close this one. But now, based on this, we're going to do things like, get some stats about who operates where and all of that kind of thing. So again, I make a new query. Create, query design, and in query design, oh look, I can actually build my query on this if I want to. I can build it on tables, but I can also build it on queries. Or if you are lost between all of this, press O and you get absolutely everything, including the tables and the view. Anyway, I'm going to bring this in. And now let's see. I'd like to know who there is operating in this business and how many places, how many countries, or something like that they operate from. Okay, give me name, title, email, so the details of each person. And then not the territory, name of the territory they operate in, but rather give me, we're going to count by territory key. There. Give me how many of these? How many is a total that we obtain by grouping the data? I don't see a sum or count thing there. I need the totals from this. Or I could use group by. I'll use group by in the near future. Then, although the machine has grouped the data according to all of these, but actually no, I wanted a count of these. So here, now it's going to tell me the name, title, email of each salesperson, and then the number of territories they operated. Let's see the result. Right, there's my list. Each salesperson and I see that, they are European Sales Manager, Director of Sales. I see their title, I see the email, and I can see that Amy Alberts is operating in 3 different places, 3 different territories. Brian Welker in 10 of them. Those sales representatives are working in 2 of them, 1 of them, etc. Finally, Stephen Jiang is operating as a North American sales manager, is operating in 6 different territories. And last one, 2 more sales representatives. but that's the number of places where they're operating. How did I get this data? By first querying the view that we have made there and then doing some stats. Let's take a look at the SQL query for this. Select now the name, the title, the email, and then a count. Says here as, and there's a name for the column. And I get that from the view, the one that I've made here. And remember, the view organizes the join between the three other tables. And then we're grouping according to name, title, and email, because we want a count of these while at the same time seeing separate names. So a name is a group of territories that name is operating in. A name, a title, and an email are a group of territories that person is operating in. The query is looking quite simple for something that uses stats and joins data, but that's because, let's open this one as well. Writing that view, we've organized things so that you've got the join part of the work that has to be done is here. And at the same time, the stats part of the work is here. Let's save this one. And I'm going to call it number of territories per salesperson. Then, and it's saved now. Oh, I wanted to do something else to this. It says here count as count of, and I think that name here as this as count of is not number of territories. I like it better as a name for the column, except written like this, there's a space, there are spaces, number of territories, and there's a typo. There. And the machine won't like the spaces, so square bracket, close the square bracket. Let's see what that looks like. Result, number of territories showing up here. Okay, that's nice. Save that. I'm going to try another one. Let me think. The other one, basically I want to do the other statistic based on this, which is how many how many salespersons are there in each territory. Okay, let's shut this. Do it again. New query, create, design, and we take that view, and this time we look at details about the group, the country, the region. That sales territory key as a number is not very interesting. And we're going to count the people. So salesperson key, but I want to count those and group by those. I'm not exactly sure what I want to group by. Maybe it's interesting to group by country. We'll see. I'll leave it like that. Oh, I need my total. I'll show you how to get those totals and groupings and that kind of thing without pressing that button. I'm quite familiar with SQL, and often I find it easier to type up some SQL than to look in the menus for an option. So if I go in SQL mode, let's take a quick look at the result here. Okay, there we are, which group they're in, the country, the region, and then the salesperson key, but I actually want a machine to top this up. Let's take a look at the SQL. Right, the SQL query is quite simple. The list of columns is looking long because the name of the table is long. But I want to count. So here the salesperson key, we're going to count how many salespersons. Count, bracket, close the bracket. And if I count this, but also display the other ones, then I need to group by what I'm not counting. So I write group by, and I group, right, I count this one, I group by the other three. I'm just going to copy the names of the three columns that are in my grouping. Group by these. There's my result. Actually, let's see. So in France, in the France region, there are 4 salespeople. In Germany, there are 4, 3 in the UK, 4 in Canada, 5 in the central United States, etc., etc., etc. That works. Let's take a look at the design again. It has brought in that total thing and done the group by. It was nice, but how can I modify it? I'd like to see the country. I'd like to see it grouped by country. I don't want United States, I don't know how many times over. And I think what that means is the region's not important. So I could choose to not display the region. Let's take a look. I return to design here. And in the design, we say the region is not important. So the group, the country, there, that's the region. I'm just going to remove this one. I press delete, or I can remove it from here. I can't see, cut. There. And now I have the group. That's the name of the data on the table that this that salespeople belong to, the country where they operate, and this count. And when I run that result, I should see different countries. There, 4 in France, 4 in Germany, 3 in the UK, 4 in Canada, 22 people in the United States, and we know that they have all sorts of regions that belong to 3 in Australia. There's our data. I wonder what the SQL for this looks like. Two columns. The column about the region has gone, and there's a count. We're still querying the same view as before, the view we made at the beginning, that one. And we group by the 2 columns that we are not counting, and we're counting the other one. Result. Now, if you needed this query in code form, if you needed to run this query, you often will need both, depending on the application that you write, that you use, or this sort of thing. So if you needed to document your query or anything like that, go in SQL view, you got this, but you've also got this one, and you need the data about both of them. Well, I haven't saved this query. Save. The machine asks me to give it a name, and I'm going to call it number of salesperson. But can't we? That's it. That's an example of creating a stored query and then how that stored query can make it easier to write other ones. From one stored query, did you see, I then wrote two that are my final two results and that are giving me some stats.